Okay, today I'm going to be showing you these Amantech acoustic foam paneling. These are high density, so they are pretty thin. They do take up a lot less space than the traditional foam acoustic foam paneling, which I do have some classic kind of striped acoustic foam I've been using for my recordings, and I do really like it. But this is a nice kind of way to have a more compact foam. So if you are doing, say, recording in a closet where there's not a lot of room, and that thin paneling is something that you maybe are interested in, this is definitely a great option. Comparing the two, this doesn't cancel as much sound, but it is a lot better than, say, drywall or plaster, or even something like brick. A very solid wall is going to bounce a lot of sound back, and this does reduce it. But comparing it to the classic style of acoustic foam, maybe something that's not as dense, not as compact, I do think it does a little bit better of a job of reducing that echo and bounce back. Now, that's not to say that this doesn't have its place. I do really like having this kind of on other parts of the room, being able to kind of cancel out the sound from the side where there's not as much direct audio going to it. It doesn't need to be super thick and cancel a lot of sound because it's kind of getting it indirectly. So I definitely recommend this if you're interested in that kind of thing, or if you are kind of trying to save space, again, like in a closet, having this really thin paneling lets you get that sound cancel without having to have the foam coming, an inch off the wall and making that small space even smaller. Now, the back adhesive is really nice. It does cover the full panel. You just pull this brown paper off, put it up against the wall, put pressure on the whole panel, and it sticks really nicely. They've been up for a couple days, and I tried peeling one off today. They're still super solid, even though it is on a exterior wall where it gets really cold. That cold is not making the adhesive peel, which I have seen with other adhesives. So it is a really high quality adhesive, and it does seal really nicely against the wall. Because it is this hexagon design, it's kind of hard to fit in a square space, but I did cut one. I just used a ruler and an X-Acto knife, cut it right in half to kind of fill in some of the empty space. Super clean cuts. It stays together very well. You don't get any debris that falls off of it when you cut it. So you can fill in those gaps if you do want kind of a perfect, nice and square sound wall. But if not, when you do kind of put them together, they do leave these kind of little holes. And then, if you're combining them, you do kind of fill them, but there are small triangles if you're not cutting the other boards up. So do keep that in mind. If you do want full wall coverage, you are going to do some cutting. But again, it was super easy, super clean with just an X-Acto knife and ruler. So if you're interested, I'm going to leave a link down below to these. I do think they're very good for kind of the outer edges. I would say personally stick with the classic acoustic foam for direct audio, but if you don't mind, if there's still a little bounce back, you can put this as direct audio acoustic foam as well. It does reduce quite a lot, just not as much as some of the other foams I've used. But if you are interested, the Amantech acoustic foam